Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode where I will review a vintage fountain pen. Today I have for you this beautiful German piston filler, and it is quite a treat because it's one of my favorite German brands, and that is LAMY. When you talk about the German LAMY brand, the first model in mind is the famous LAMY 2000. But before LAMY 2000, in the early 1950s, to be exact, in 1952, we have this interesting model. I will present for you today the model LAMY 27. And this is the variation of the LAMY 27, and it's called the LAMY 27e. And we have right over here at the end of the turning grip 27e thermically engraved, but also the size of the nib, and we have a fine nib. Also thermically engraved on the banner we have LAMY 27. This is a wonderful German piston filler, a classic. And as you can see, it has this torpedo shape. This has some classic elements from the late 1940s and the early 1950s, and it shares much of its design with the famous Parker 51. Except the filling mechanism. This is a piston filler. It has this interesting multifaceted ink window right over here, and believe me guys, it has a really large capacity of ink, and I've read in an article that it even surpasses the capacity of the LAMY 2000. So this is a real workhorse. As I said to you, this was introduced in 1952, and it was the first LAMY made after the Second World War that used the name of its producer, LAMY. The previous models after the Second World War were called Artus. The LAMY 27 was quite a successful product. It was made in over 12 variants, and it had around 5 or 7 different color options to it. And this was not an accessible or an affordable model. For example, this 27e cost back then 20 Deutschmarks, and there was also a luxury version of it, the so-called 27N with a gold cap, and that was sold for 39 Deutschmark. What is interesting about this pen is the fact that it had something very innovative to it. So it had a revolutionary and patented system of inlaid microsegments around the feed, and those segments made the inflow insensitive to air pressure or temperature changes. And this system, they named it the tin-tomatic system. So you can see a wonderful model. So the 27E stands for the fact that we have a plastic cap, but it is a wonderful injected plastic. Some could call this a precious resin, but that term is reserved for Mont Blancs. A beautiful and elegant pen. Now I can see why it was so successful in the early 1950s. Probably this simple version, which was quite similar with what Mont Blanc offered back then, And let me show you guys, because I think I have a similar model that I can compare it with this model. So I have it right over here, guys. I hope I can take it out. I want to show you the wonderful Meisterstück of that era. And I have for you here a beautiful Mont Blanc 144 from the beginning of the 1950s. Let me see if we have the right one. So it should say here, yes, we have a 144, guys. And this is a lovely Meisterstück from the same period. And I will check the prices and I will leave them on the screen. I hope that I can find the catalog to see for what kind of money was sold the Mont Blanc 144. But basically, we have the approximately the same length. Probably the LAMY is more, is bigger, but this seems to me a fatter. The barrel has a larger diameter in comparison with our LAMY. And of course, if we unscrew this beautiful cap, we can see over here, let me zoom on it, guys, because I want you to see this wonderful nib and the wonderful ink window, and of course the beautiful ski slope type feed, ebonite feed specific to the 1950s. And let me compare this with the other one, which has another design. Of course, we have a semi-hooded nib, also a gold nib, and at the back we have the different feeder. And believe it or not, guys, this had a more advanced feeder system than the other one, which was very sensitive to air pressure and temperature changes. But again, telescopic filling mechanism, a piston filler, and this one a simple piston but with a very good and reliable reputation. So this has a simple plastic turning knob, but it is very well built. So guys, I wanted to show you the comparisons between probably the popular model from the 1950s and of course the Mont Blanc was out there, but I believe that the price was double in comparison with the LAMY. Although LAMY did not have an affordable price, I already told you that. So I know for a fact that this model, the 27, although it was a very successful model, it was manufactured by LAMY till the end of the 1960s. So with the new arrival of the LAMY 2000, this was discontinued. And I'm not so sure it was such a good choice, but I guess it was a good choice because the LAMY 2000 was quite revolutionary in its design. And maybe the new management of LAMY wanted to leave the old designs of the late 1940s and early 1950s behind them and wanted something different. So this is probably compared a lot with the Parker 51, and LAMY wanted a different approach to its design. So in a way, I understand them, but in another way, I think that they should have maintained this old design in their portfolio. This is just my opinion. So when you have such a diversity, and I guess it was not such an expensive product to build. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, guys, but I like the old design, and also I like the innovative LAMY 2000. And speaking of the LAMY 2000, I'm speaking about it, and I did not show you. And look here, guys. So this is all the fuss. This is the famous macaron, so not a glossy finish like this resin. So it was a great leap forward in the designs of fountain pens. And in comparison with the classic LAMY 2000, you can see it is from almost another planet. The design is quite innovative, but they've maintained that feeder, that design with the feeder, which was quite revolutionary, and they did a great job with the LAMY 2000. And you can still buy this model today, so it is like a testimony of its great value brought to LAMY. So enough with the LAMY 2000, let us concentrate on our product. So enough with the LAMY 2000, let us concentrate on this beautiful classic German piston filler from the beginning of the 1950s. And I will zoom on it, guys. You can see the classic torpedo shape. A wonderful design. This is made with the plastic and injected plastic. So it was introduced in 1952, the period when Montblanc still used the celluloid material, but this is not celluloid, it's plastic, guys. And you can see the beautiful elegance of this wonderful product. What goes with black shiny plastic, those beautiful gold plated trims, and they are quite lovely. We can see a band that ends the cap, and we can see that wonderful designed clip, and on it engraved LAMY. The end of the barrel and the end of the cap, they are quite similar. In a way, it reminds me also of the design of the Pelican 400 back in that period, so the classic cigar shape. The cap unscrews like this, guys, and I'm sorry, I tried to clean it before I did this video, but we still have some residues of ink, but you get the idea. A large reservoir, and we have multifaceted windows showing us the level of ink inside of it. Well, comparing it with the famous Parker 51, this has an advantage. I always prefer the piston-filled ones, although the aromatic filling mechanism is quite reliable. Also, this piston filler is reliable, and this ink window is more practical than the small sag that was available for the Parker 51 aromatic filling system. So again, we have a screwed in cap, we have another gold ring here at the end of the grip section. And let me zoom, guys, on the nib, and I hope it will zoom. Yes, on the nib we have, I believe in this way, we have LAMY, yes, LAMY 5H5 engraved on it. So we know from the back of the gripping, the turning knob, that we have an F nib, and it seems like an F nib. We will definitely check that out when I will do the writing sample, so stay tuned, guys. And on the back we have this wonderful design of the feeder, which you can see is very well built. So I now understand the system Tintomatic, that is very resistant to changes in air pressure and temperature. So quite a nice design for that time. This pen is in wonderful shape, guys. I bought it recently, probably my best lot, and I will leave a link with that lot over here, guys. And if you've not seen that lot, go check it out, because it is the most wonderful buy I've made, or the luckiest buy I've made since I've started collecting fountain pens. So check it out, guys. And again, it was part of a lot, but I estimate the cost of it to be around 20 euros or 25 euros, which is a great price for this lovely piston filler with a solid gold nib. So without further delay, guys, let me leave the dimension of this beautiful pen on the screen. I've already done a comparison with the old Mont Blanc from 1955, but let me do a comparison with the modern Mont Blanc for you to have an idea about its dimensions. So here we have a 1983 Mont Blanc 146, and you can see the differences between them. So definitely this is a slimmer looking piston filler, and it's quite nice design for the beginning of the 1950s. This slimmer fact was indeed a trend in the design of fountain pens, but it was prolific in the 70s. So for 1950s, early 1950s pen, this has a very modern feel to it, and it is more comfortable to hold in your hand. But again, let me leave its dimensions on the screen, guys, and I will change the angle of the camera for you to see better the writing sample. And I've managed to change the writing the angle of the camera, guys. Now I have here a little notepad, and I will place it right over here, guys. And probably for you to see better the writing sample, I will change also the source of light closer to you. Let me see. Okay, now we can see better. So for the writing sample, I will use a beautiful ink, the royal blue from Mont Blanc. I think it is a proper ink. Also, you can use, for an old piston filler from the 1950s, you can use a lubricated ink, which is the Parker Quick Ink. I don't think I have it right now, so this is why I will use the royal blue ink from Mont Blanc. And it's simple enough. Let me shake a little bit the bottle of ink. I will gently open it, and now let me turn the piston, and I don't know if you can see, so watch this, guys, carefully, because you probably will see the piston doing its cycle, and you can see it still has some ink. Look at the piston, yes. And now I am just tilting the ink bottle because I want to get a reasonable amount of ink inside of it. Okay, like this, guys. Let's leave it there because I forgot to take my tissue. So I have here an ink tissue because this is an expensive ink. You can clean it like this, but you also need to clean it like this. So only the grip section, and it is perfect, guys. Just in case I need some little bit more of ink, but I don't think it's necessary. You can see now that the ink reservoir is full. I will put back the cap on the ink bottle, and remember, guys, this is like a ritual. After you use the ink bottle, always secure it by capping it, and you will avoid lots of accidents. And believe me, guys, accidents do happen quite often. So the cap posts, as you can see, it is quite nice. What do we have here, guys? Let me zoom. Okay, and here we have a wonderful LAMY. A LAMY. The model is 27, and the variation is E. E stands for the plastic cap. This is a wonderful product made in Germany. And its launch date was 1952, and it was sold till the middle of the 1960s, let's say 1967 or something like that. Okay, LAMY 27e made in Germany. Okay, let me see. Yes, it is fitted with a 14 karat 585 gold nib. It is a semi-hooded nib, but a wonderful nib. I know that it is an F nib because it is engraved at the end of the turning knob, and I've already shown you that to you. Now let me test how if we have not like this. Now I want to test how if we have flexi gold nib, and I will test it by doing this. And as you can see, some interesting things happen. Probably you'll see it loses the ink flow, but I definitely think that this is a very a slight flexible nib that was, look, and here you can see better, that was specific to the beginning of the 1950s for the German gold nibs. So we can see a slightly flexible nib, and probably a zoom will be in order, guys. And look at this line. You can see this line, and this is more like this. I hope you can see. So definitely it is a small flex to it. This is what I'm trying to show you, guys. It is a small flexible nib, just small. And let me test if we have a juicy nib. So right over here, guys. Yes, it's fairly nice. And let me see if it can do the signatures. Yes, and you can see it does the signatures quite well. Now let me see if we have some line variance, and I'm expecting a little bit of line variance. So here, no pressure, guys. And here I'm starting to apply pressure. And almost the same as the small flexible nib, we also have small line variance depending on the pressure you exert on the nib. Of course, remember, guys, a good fountain pen is the fountain pen that doesn't require pressure when you write with it. So it should be a smooth writing process. Okay, so small flexible nib, a small line variance. Now let me see if we can reverse write with it. So reverse writing. I'm quite surprised. It can reverse write in a nice way. It writes like an extra fine. It has a little bit of scratch, but it doesn't loses the ink flow. So I think we have a possibility to reverse write with it for short session writings. And now let me change a little bit the angle of the camera, guys, because I want to tell you about the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So here you are, guys, a beautiful F nib from a very interesting LAMY piston filler. This was its review of this wonderful classic pen, and let me tell you, it is a wonderful piston. So if you don't have this wonderful pen in your collection, try to buy one. I'm not so sure of the prices they fetch, but I think they are similar to the Parker 51, and you should buy both of them, the Parker 51 and the LAMY 27, and you will see some iconic designs of the early 1950s. So was it, guys. This was the review of the LAMY 27e. I hope you've enjoyed its review, and if you liked it, I have also the review of the LAMY 2730, a later cheaper variant of this wonderful product. But check that out, guys. I will leave its link over here. And what can I say? This is certainly a lovely product from the beginning of the 1950s. It rivals Mont Blanc and Pelican, the other great manufacturers of that time in Germany. And you can see, after all that time, it is functional, it is in a wonderful state, and this means it is a lovely product. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode wherever you are. I want to wish you to have a nice day, my friends. I will see you again in the next episode. Till then, bye and God bless you all, my dear friends.